Something that I think has pushed a lot of us into a state of perpetual burnout. It's the obsession with productivity, with always striving, always needing to be better, always needing to chase a bigger goal. And I would even group personal development in with this, because all of these things, it's a perpetual chase that will never stop. It's never ending. There's always more you can do to improve your fitness, or improve your health, or improve your mindset, or improve yourself in some way, or make more money, or have a bigger business, or whatever it is. There's always something we could be doing to improve, to be productive. And it's this obsession with productivity that I think actually has had a backwards effect on a lot of us over time, because it causes us to eventually burn out. And I think the obsession with being productive in part comes from attaching to outcomes, needing to achieve something or be someone. And it consumes us a lot of the times. We're either distracting ourselves and calling that, downtime, or we're constantly striving. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with watching TV, but I don't think that distraction is necessarily rest. I think rest is something different. Lao Tzu had a great quote, and he said that the functionality of a cup is in its emptiness. Basically meaning that being empty, being void of needing to do something or be someone, or always be productive, having emptiness in your life is not a bad thing. It's actually the space that allows you to be productive, show up as a better version of yourself. And ironically enough, it's not about doing anything. It's like when we take our foot off the gas, when we release our grip on life, on needing to achieve something, we actually get much further by letting go. And if you've ever noticed that sense of burnout, if you can trace it back, it usually does come back to this attachment to an outcome, needing to achieve something. But the thing is it's a perpetual chase because it never ends. Once we get to that goal, there's always something more to achieve. There's always some other way we can be better. And the best way to move beyond this cycle is to let go of the attachment to outcomes and learn to be. And being doesn't mean that we're not doing anything. It just means that we honor our human beingness, and we're not human doings anymore. We're not robots. We weren't made to always be doing something, to always be productive, every waking minute to be, striving. There's a beingness to being human. And to return to that beingness, or touch base with it, have that as the foundation of your doing, you actually find that you become much more productive with a greater sense of well-being, mental well-being, spiritual well-being. You feel better, you feel rejuvenated. It's not so much of a striving as it is just being present and taking action in the moment without attaching to an outcome. Because I think that in always needing to be productive, it's like a fear-based striving that if we don't get to that thing that we desire, then we're scared that things aren't going to work out for us, or our self-worth is not as good, or whatever it is. But we just feed that story in our head the more that we compulsively act or need to be productive, always need to be doing something, everything needing to be a means to an end. It truly is a recipe for burnout. I've been there before. And it's something that I have to be very mindful of. I think many of us need to be mindful of it to find balance within ourselves so that everything isn't a means to an end. Because getting caught up in that trap where this moment right now isn't good enough, what I'm doing right now is when I get this done, then I'll move on to the next thing, which is a little bit better, and then so on and so forth. We're in this perpetual state of discontentment. It's always this, when I get here, then it'll be better. Okay, when I get there. But it's an illusion. You're never going to get there. There is no arriving. The goalpost will always move. And when we can let go of the attachment to an outcome, we can come back to beingness. We can still take action with something, but that action isn't charged with some future outcome. And along with that, we let go of the discouragement that comes from attaching to the outcome. Because as long as we're attached to an outcome, let's say I was going to go to the gym and I want to lose 50 pounds. And that's the main reason I want to lose these 50 pounds, and I'm super attached to that. Everything between now and when I lose that 50 pounds, if I don't really like working out, is going to be miserable. And it's going to be very discouraging because all I'm going to see is, wow, I'm not there yet. I'm still not there. I'm still have 30 pounds to go. When I lose the 50 pounds, when I lose these extra 30, then I'll get there. But when I could learn to put myself in the process, be present with myself, with what I'm doing, ask myself in the first place, why am I even going after this thing? Because I think a lot of us, we go after things in life because someone outside of us or society told us, or the media told us, or whatever, that we need to go and do that. It didn't really come from within. It was told to us from outside through some fear-based conditioning. And if we compulsively act from fear or scarcity or lack, that is like a hamster chase, a hamster wheel that will just run us into the ground. We can't keep up. But by asking ourselves first, by first self-inquiring, reflecting on, what is it that I want out of life? Why am I going after the things that I'm going after? And what is truly important to me? When I look back on my life when I'm 80 or 90 years old, how will I know if I lived my purpose? How will I know if it was truly fulfilling? That it was meaningful? And then approaching it from that point and just moving in that direction, life becomes much better. It's not a striving anymore. You're just living in practice with what's important to you. It reminds me of Earl Nightingale's definition of success. His definition of success was, success is the progressive realization of worthy ideals. It's kind of just a progressive thing that you're living in practice with. There's no endpoint. You're just being with it. You're just living from your values, from what's important to you, and that's it. There's no goalposts. There's no arriving. But it's not this toxic not arriving where we think that we're going to get there, and when we do, then we'll feel better. It's this place that we're fueling ourselves in the process. The process itself is the goal, if you will. That is what is the fulfilling part about it. It's the progressive realization of that worthy ideal by living in practice with it, by having that way of life. So I think returning back to beingness, emptiness, not always needing to be productive will actually allow us to be more productive, for one, show up as a better version of ourselves, which is funny because I think a lot of times with personal development and wellness and all these things, we get caught up with always needing to do something, and it's exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting to always have something to be doing to try and be something that's better. And it actually, like I said, holds us back because we just get discouraged and we just burn out. And a lot of us just end up being like, screw this, I'm done, and we quit. But if we can understand what are our worthy ideals in life and what can I just progressively move towards, just through balance, through being, by having being as the foundation, presence, without attaching to an outcome, we can live life with much less stress, overwhelm, burnout, more presence, more mindfulness, more inner peace. And we show up as the highest expression of ourselves. We can be more creative in life. We can be more productive, as I said, because we are now honoring our human beingness. Like I said, we're not robots. We're not human doings. We weren't put on this planet to always be doing something, striving for these arbitrary goals that don't really mean anything. You're here to live life and experience it as human beings. Through that, by touching base with that spiritual essence that we are. Through that emptiness in the cup that allows that cup to have its functionality. You can put things in the cup. But if we're always busying ourselves with trying to be productive or stimulating our mind or distracting ourselves or whatever it is, that cup is full. You can't put anything in there. It can't be used for a greater purpose. So, I hope this video helps. If you find that you've been feeling burnt out, know that you can take your foot off the gas. Remember, if our foot is always on the gas, eventually we run out of gas. So know that it's okay to just take a step back and be with yourself. Let your mind, your body, your nervous system relax. Come back into the beingness that you are as a human, because you're not a human doing. Be kind to yourself. Self-compassion is one of the most transformative things that we can do for ourselves, to just care for us, for this. Not always needing to have that inner drill sergeant going that I need to be constantly doing something. Because life will just be this constant striving with never arriving. But what will happen is you will get burnt out. You will feel overwhelmed. You will feel discouraged. It'll impact your mental state because everything will be a means to an end. And it'll never be good enough. It'll be an illusion. The only time you'll feel good enough is in the thought of when you achieve something. And even when you do achieve it, you might feel good for a period of time, but it's just a matter of time before that thing creeps back in and it grips you and it pulls you down. And it's that, okay, I need to be doing something. I need to be doing something. So just relax. Let go. Let go of the attachment. Come back to yourself. And you'll notice that it'll have the reverse effect that we're scared of. A lot of times we're scared that if we take our foot off the gas, we're going to fall behind. But if anything, it allows us to be shot forward that much quicker. So, hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next video.